Guten Tag. 下午好。
下午好. Would you go to the link that will be provided in the description of this video? It'll take us to Google Earth Engine.
It's loading. Here we go.
We'll do this at 30 arc minutes. So right now we're looking at a map of the drainage network at two different resolutions, at 50-kilometer resolution and 10-kilometer resolution. This is showing the path that water takes as it drains across the surface of the Earth. Dark blue represent points with more upstream area than the lighter or whiter areas. And we're zoomed in over Canada. If you're interested,
Is this a 5 arc minutes resolution one, right? The one on the top.
the finer one, yeah. We could maybe take off the finer one. If you go to layers,
If I could see it.
and then just unclick the 5-minute, yeah. Okay, so now we want to zoom in towards the outlet of the basin. And if you're interested, we can do the St. Lawrence Basin, the St. Laurent Basin.
Can you direct where it is, more or less?
Yeah, do you see Montreal?
I see Toronto.
Great, yeah, zoom in around there. That river is the St. Lawrence. So that last point right at Quebec City is where this drainage network takes us to as the end. So we want the latitude and longitude of that point at Quebec City.
This one, right?
Yeah,
So does that mean we want to work on a 30 arc minutes version, right?
yeah, the 30 arc minute version. It'll be faster than the 5 arc minute.
I think I have to exit the full view because from here,
Sure.
I actually don't see it, the coordinates.
Yeah, see in the right of the console above, it says inspector and console and tasks. Yeah, and now when you click, we'll get the location.
Super.
Okay. I'll write that down, negative 71.431 and 46.7.
I can load it down in a separate screen, just because we are going to need it. Yeah. Cool.
Cool. Let's go to GitHub Desktop. And let's update the CWatM repository.
It's getting started in a different screen. So I'm in the right repository. Actually, I still have I can't see full screen because otherwise I don't see the top of my screen actually.
Okay. Can you click Pull Origin?
Unresolved conflict in the working directory.
Okay. In your working directory, see these 4 changed files? Actually, let's look at the second one. Let's see what changes we made in the settings. Yeah. Put that there. We updated this here.
It's nothing major, I guess.
Okay, these 3 things. Okay, we'll remember to do these 3 things. Okay, so can you highlight all of these changes? Or I mean on the left, in the 4 changed files. Yeah, highlight these 4 files.
Highlight all file.
I'll just highlight the 3 that are with this. Yeah, this one and the last 2. Hold Control and touch these 3 with the warning symbol.
What do you mean to select all of them?
Like, just click the name of the file, and it'll highlight this.
Ah,
Yeah.
you want me to select them? Is that
Perfect.
what you meant? Or?
Yeah, and the top one as well. But don't highlight the tutorial one. I want to see if this one doesn't get updated. Okay, now right-click on something you highlighted, and we're just going to remove these. So discard 3 selected changes.
Are you sure?
Yes. Okay, now let's pull the origin.
Seems to be working.
Doing something.
Maybe you could take the time to explain like what was going on.
Yeah, somehow there was 3 files that were in a way not allowing CWatM to put its new changes into your repository. I'm not sure where those changes came from, but either way, so the idea was to just discard these changes so that we could make space for CWatM to update. But what is nice is it updated. We're in the develop branch, but your tutorial, this settings file stayed there with the changes, which is good. So let's go to this file. In fact, if you just right-click this file and go to Show in Explorer, I guess it was the one that's highlighted, so we can...
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so let's open this one. And now we'll just change the mask map and gauges to the location of the St. Lawrence outlet.
Sorry, the search box is on the other side.
Yeah, just here. Okay, so we put in longitude, latitude.
I'm just copying the one that we had.
Great.
Is the order right?
Order is right, we just want to remove the comma.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
And we'll copy this also in gauges. Okay, actually, I want to make sure that we have all the correct outputs. So right away, we'll actually open up, to visualize the outputs, we'll download some Python packages to then open up the Jupyter Notebook, because the list of all the output variables that we need to visualize the outputs are in that notebook. So let's open up a command prompt.
With CMD.
Great, CMD in the search.
Should I do it in the Windows command prompt or the icon one?
This is
Or
fine.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay, type in pip install a notebook, N-O-T-E book. Great. This allows us to use Jupyter Notebooks, these interactive coding environments.
And it might have already been installed.
Okay,
It's still processing. So
still processing.
So what does this package do?
It allows us to use Jupyter Notebooks, so this interactive coding environment. We'll also use, the next package we'll do is Plotly, so pip install and Plotly, P-L-O-T-L-Y. Yeah, so this will allow us to have interactive figures, things we can zoom in and out of, maps, and change the times or the variables we're showing for different time series related to the CWatM outputs.
It's a package for plotting, and you can use it for interactive plotting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into the CWatM repository.
Or maybe just to say this one, it did not install because it's already there.
Okay, you already had them. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into the CWatM repository.
You mean through GitHub or GitHub desktop or through the folder?
Just the folder. And
So
then let's go to Toolkit and Notebooks. And then let's open up a command prompt in this folder.
What do you mean to open a command
Yeah.
prompt from this folder?
In the address bar of this folder, type in cmd. And then here type in Jupyter, Jupyter, space notebook. And just with an E after the T.
It's missing.
Okay, now let's click on water cycles. Okay, zoom down, sorry, scroll down slightly.
Can you explain a bit what does this script do, or are you going to do it later?
Yeah, I guess, well, it'll make sense once we run the notebook. Right now we're just using this sort of documentation at the beginning. So scroll up a little bit again. We're looking for this when modflow coupling equals false. We're looking for all of these outputs. So if you just copy this whole line, this whole section, perfect. Copy this, and let's take this into our settings file.
In the one we opened, right?
Yeah.
Where did I open the settings file?
I think here. Yeah, perfect. So we scroll all the way to the bottom. And replace the out_map daily equals discharge with everything that you copied.
For TSS or for map? For map, right?
The out map daily. Yeah, you can replace all of that with what you will. Great. Push enter. And we want to include one more output. Actually, let's go back to the notebook. It's also written in there. Scroll a little bit up to the top. And this out_map_total end equals cell area. Yeah.
What does this one output to? Outputs which variable?
This
Cell area?
Yeah, exactly. It gives a map of the area of each pixel. Okay.
Is this a model variable? It's a model input, right?
It's a model input. Could you search for something called limit abstraction?
Maybe just to be sure that everyone knows what to do, you have to save it.
Yeah, sure, save this.
At some moment.
Control S, yeah.
Yeah. Limit.
Yeah, and then the letter, perfect. Limit abstraction equals false. Okay, let's set it equal to true. For this run, we won't include fossil water. And can you also look up use small lakes?
So by setting this one to true, it's not allowing the model to use fossil groundwater for whatever purposes, right?
Exactly, to satisfy demands, it'll not use fossil water. We can change it depending on what we're interested in, but just for this simulation, we'll set it equal to limit abstraction equals true.
Yeah. And the next one is for small lakes.
Yeah. Use small lakes equals false. Okay, that's good. Okay. Okay. Let's go look at the time period.
You mean for the simulation, right?
Yeah. Okay, so right now we're looking at 3 months in 2015. No, we're looking at, okay, we have to change this. Can you set spin up equal to none? capital N-O-N-E. And the step end, maybe make 30. So we'll just do like 1 month.
Let's say 31 because that's a proper 1 month from January for January.
And yeah, let's click save or Control S.
Let's do this time.
Okay, and let's see what happens when we run the model.
And so we changed one in, oh, number 4 for Bima Basin.
Okay, oh, yeah, we could also maybe rename it to avoid confusion. So let's go into 4 and let's just, copy this Bima -30 minute.
Bima dash 30 minutes.
Yeah, just copy this and we can rename it. Yeah.
Why do we need to rename it? Because now it's already changed anyway.
Yeah, just to avoid confusion when moving forward, in case we make other changes to it. Yeah, and let's call it maybe Lawrence.
Not here. How it is written?
L-A-W. Sorry, L-A-W-R-E-N-C-E. Perfect. Okay. Great. Let's run CWatM without using the batch file, just running it using the command prompt.
Maybe just one note. Actually, we should have copied before. So now the Bima Basin has a coordinate of St. Lawrence.
Exactly, but at least the St. Lawrence one has the correct coordinate of the St. Lawrence. Okay, let's open up a command prompt in this folder. Okay, now we type Python, Python, space, and now the location of GitHub on your computer. So it's C:/, I believe, GitHub, and slash CWatM slash run and now just type perfect. Okay, great.
So I just did type the tab
and then space and then type in settings _L and then just push tab and then space -L for loud so that we get some outputs while the model is running. All right, let's do this and see what messages we get. So the basin is about 1 million square kilometers.
Yeah, that says about right.
We can look it up. Yes, so the Einzugsgebiet, according to Wikipedia, is 1,030,000 kilometers square. Cool. Okay, ran successfully. Let's go. Let's find the output folder that these outputs were produced in. We can find that in the settings file. Or maybe it's just in here. Yeah.
Maybe we can just guide through the settings file. There is a directory that indicates where the outputs are, right?
Yep. It's more towards the top. Yeah. Or if you look.
So this basically the output directories. in the pass out, and pass out is defined at the very beginning. So this is the same pass with
Okay.
the subfolder out.
Okay, so let's go into
that is where this one is.
So copy this whole path. So in the address bar at the top, just copy this whole path. Great. And let's take this into the Jupyter Notebook. Okay, scroll down slightly. Okay, right here.
I replaced it, is that correct?
Yeah. Okay, and then we look at the options. We have limit abstraction equals true, model equals false, dark equals true. Could you set regular grid equals to false? Yeah, we're using latitude and longitude. The regular grid is when the model uses a square resolution, like 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer.
Should I also save it, or?
It'll save automatically when we run it. Can you set sector source abstraction fractions equal to true? And set consumption equal to true. We'll see what happens here. Yeah.
See, the idea is that what comes in the settings here should go in line with what in the settings file, right?
Sort of the version of the model and the settings file. Yeah, so these relate to a few different configurations.
So the version of the model and the settings file that were used.
Like the way the model's being used, like the regular grid is, I guess, related to the inputs. So sort of the way the inputs are arranged. The limit abstraction relates to the settings in the input file. Mod flow is if the coupling is used or not.
But all these are defined in the settings file, is that correct?
Not necessarily. Like the square grid isn't defined in the settings file, it's just sort of the format of the inputs.
Yeah.
Let's click the double arrow towards the top, the fast forward button, yeah. Restart and run all cells. All right, so if you look up above, we didn't update the latitude and longitude of the location. So it's zooming in, but we can go on this map and zoom out, and let's go just with your, and let's go to where we think the basin is.
This is India, I suppose.
Yeah.
And we should be here.
This is showing the pattern of snow across the basin. If you zoom in too much, we don't see it anymore, but zoom out again. And where the darker blue parts are where there's more snow than the transparent parts.
Perhaps there was a higher elevation, or just a function of the precipitation in slow.
Yeah, well, we can zoom in on one of these darker blue patches, like the one up above towards the north a bit. Yeah, and zoom in here and see what's in the map underneath.
It's on the coast, actually.
Okay.
Oh, it's not a coast, just a lake. Sorry.
Sure. Yeah, we have all the Great Lakes in this basin, which make it quite interesting. Let's scroll down to see the results. Okay, so here is the water cycle for the 1 month in January. Not representative of January, but the beginning 30 days of a model. We would run this for a longer run to see something more representative. But what we see here is, of all the inputs, do you want to click on the inputs button? Yeah. So you see of all the inputs, most of it was snow, 94% was snow, and 6% was rain. And of all the outputs, most of it was flowing out of the basin, out of the St. Lawrence, or into the St. Lawrence. We have Lake
Third.
Yeah, 2/3. We have evaporation from lakes. We have non-irrigation consumption, which is that which is consumed for domestic, industrial, or livestock processes. And then evapotranspiration, the liquid water that turns to vapor over soil and through plants. Again, relatively low in January. Click outputs. But what we see here, particularly at the beginning of setting up the model, is that most of the inputs went into increasing soil moisture. So this soil star represents soil moisture, snowpack, and interception, which is the water sitting on top of vegetation, like dew or moisture sitting on top of vegetation. We see there was, so because it's blue, there was an increase. Rivers, there was also an increase in channel storage of rivers. And lakes, there was a decrease compared to the beginning of the model. Yeah. Do you want to scroll down, see what else we can see? This one is, for this example, relatively the same.
So what was the difference between the two?
Yeah, it's light to see, but you see this little
It's
thing
here.
sticking out. Yeah, so it relates to evapotranspiration. So maybe click outputs and click evapotranspiration, and it shows you sort of the distribution of how evapotranspiration is throughout this run as well. It's, again, evapotranspiration relatively tiny for this cold month. Maybe now that we see it's working, I'm glad that it's working. Let's run for like a longer time period.
Yeah.
So let's run for a year.
Let's close this one because we were
Right, yeah.
editing the wrong file.
Yeah.
Do we want some spin up?
Just for this, just so we can see all the results for every day, let's leave spin up equal to none. But let's set this equal to the first day of 2016. Or yeah, also, sorry, the last day of 2015 is also fine.
And that's it, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, just push the up arrow. Super. I just want to see, sometimes it doesn't let us overwrite the results when the notebook is still open.
aha.
But it seems to, we'll see, right? It seems to be fine. When I run it, it always gives me trouble for trying to overwrite them, but this is fine. Okay, while this is running, let's continue to look at the outputs from the notebook.
Yeah.
Okay, we scroll down.
So this is basically a water balance, but with a lot of details.
Yeah, the ultimate water balance, or the water cycle. So this is the time series for general inputs, outputs, and storage change. So we see a big influx at the beginning. Evapotranspiration in red is sort of steady and slow throughout the whole thing. But to see a bit more detail, let's go to the next one. Yeah, let's pass these ones for now, and let's pass all these circles and go to the next time series that we see. Yeah, this one, one below.
And this one.
Yeah, this one. Okay, let's build this up from the beginning. So you see rain in the top right corner. Yeah, double click the blue icon. Okay. Perfect, Ting. Okay. Now...
The double click was not fast enough. Maybe you can cut out that part. It's double click again.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we see, okay, we'll build this up slowly. So we see the rain on just a sort of handful of days in this month. Now let's include snow. So we're looking at 30 days, 31 days, all the days in January. Okay, now we see snow, much more significant as precipitation in January over the St. Lawrence Basin. Now let's include evapotranspiration, which will be relatively tiny. Yeah, but we could always double click evapotranspiration if we just want to focus on it.
Double click?
Double click.
You want to move it out, or you want to only look at this one?
Only look at this one.
Ah, but there are different ways I can do that.
Also, clever, adaptive. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now let's start including the things slowly. So we saw that. Let's include snow again, rain, and then we were seeing a significant increase in soil moisture. So let's click the soil change. Yeah. So we see that it's sort of all the increase in snow is sort of going directly to soil star change, which means soil moisture or snowpack. So that snow is leading to more snowpack, which stays in the region. Okay, so yeah, this is just that same overall water balance, just through time. Yeah, so here you can also just, another way of isolating different variables. Scroll down again. So here it's similar to before, but here you can look at rain. If you click rain, you can also look at snow. So it's just another way of looking at the variables. You can download all of these shapes as well if you just hover towards the right. There's that little little camera symbol. Clicking that will download this as a PNG. Same with the water circles above. What's the status of the current run? Great. Okay, let's just rerun this notebook.
Should we change where the display location of the display?
Sure. That's a great idea.
Where?
Zoom up slightly, where it says latitude, longitude. So our latitude is 46.
I'm trying to get a file that I had at hand. Oh, where did the website go? It is 46, right?
Yeah.
Longitude is minus 17.
Great.
And we round the whole.
Yeah, with a double arrow.
Yes.
Great.
For the water circle, okay. So this is the first full one.
Okay. So we see storage change is now relatively less than it was before. The longer the run, the smaller that storage change will represent as a part of the circle. So we see in this version, rain is now more significant than snow over a whole year. And outputs, in fact, the largest output from the basin is lake evaporation. Evapotranspiration, the water coming from the soil and plants, and then downstream outflow, the water going through the St. Lawrence. And
I mean, this is what we were just chatting about. So if you run the model throughout this season for a year, you will see a big lake evaporation because of the large surface area of lakes in the basin.
Yeah. And let's go look at the time series of this water circle. Can you just remove the sum of magnitudes and the balance and actually the storage change? Great. So we see this sort of typical pattern of these sharp and punctuated inputs through time. We see that there's precipitation falling basically throughout the whole year, but maybe even between January and May, there's less than between May and the rest of the year. But the outputs are smoother and dampened throughout the whole year, with the least output happening within the earlier part of the year.
That's the buffering capacity of this slope back and
sure. Well, yeah, the outputs, I guess, as we saw, they're lake evaporation, evapotranspiration, and river discharge. So evaporation and lake evaporation, evapotranspiration, lake evaporation will definitely be more significant in the spring and the summer. And the discharge, water going through the St. Lawrence, will also be higher in the spring with the melting snow and the increased rainfall. So all three of these outputs are significantly less during the colder months.
Yes, we could also look at storage change. What should we look at next?
Yeah, maybe that's good for today.
That's good for today?
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah.
Cool.
Can we look at maybe one last thing for the lake, specifically for lake water balance? Because it's kind of interesting for this basin.
Yeah.
And the input.
So in this example, we're seeing, I guess even after 1 year, the model hasn't yet converged to properly represent these Great Lakes. But we see, just as an example, after this 1 year, of all the lake inflow, it left through evaporation, discharge, water leaving the lakes, and since lake storage change is red or negative, there is less storage at the end of this 1 year than at the beginning of this 1 year. Not generally representative of a year in this basin, but just 1 year of this no spin-up simulation of this basin. So now I guess the next step is to run it for a long spin-up period, maybe 5 to 10 years, and then look at what this water cycle looks like for an average year, a wet year, or a dry year.
Super.
Cool. Thank you, Ting.
Thank you.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter and happy holidays.
Happy holidays.